And go ahead and get started in a moment. If you're here, something about what you saw before coming here, it touched you in some way, and something deep inside that internal guidance system you had said, I need to come and watch this. I want you to just acknowledge that you're here because something you felt before told you it was the right thing to do. I want you to lean into that instinct you had to be here. There's something, I'm supposed to be here to hear something. You had an instinct in there. And you came. So I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the How to Transform Your Body and Your Life Without Counting Calories or Going to the Gym training today. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. It's a very good thing that you're here. So my name is Wayne. I'm an LA native. I'm formerly a California guy. It's so interesting to be able to say formerly. Formerly a California guy. I went to school all in California schools. I was born and raised in Los Angeles. I was a professor at one time, which in ways helped me to make all of what you're going to learn about today possible. We'll get to that in a bit. I am a husband. I love barbecue. That's going to matter in a moment too. I am a fan, a lover of barbecue. And as you can tell from the picture, I was once just like you in a situation that I wanted to change. And right now I'm going to tell you exactly what I did to completely transform my body, transform my health, and transform my life. So stay until the end of the presentation and you're going to qualify for something very, very special. I want all of you, each and every one of you, to be able to get access to it. I want all of you to have it. So stay all the way until the end of the presentation. So rewind about a year before this picture. And I was at my doctor's office and the doctor looks at me and looks at the pad he had, the clipboard with papers on it. He's flipping through. He looks at me, looks at the paper, looks at me and says, well, you're obese. And unfortunately, you are pre-diabetic. Now, let me give you some context of how that landed for me. That meant something to me. As a kid, I grew up with a lady who was kind of like a surrogate grandmother to me. Her name was Sister Carmel. Sister Carmel, at one point in our lives, Sister Carmel got diabetes. And I remember her diabetes led to something that would stick in my mind forever. I was never able to forget this. One day, Sister Carmel got her leg cut off. That is something as a child that stuck with me. A piece of her leg got cut off, and then they cut off more of it. Then they cut the other leg off. Before I knew it, Sister Carmel was just basically torso. So when I heard this doctor telling me I had diabetes, to me, what that meant was I was eating myself to death. I was signing up for a situation where I could lose my limbs. My body could be eaten away from me little by little. That's what diabetes meant to me. So to hear some man tell me that in my 40s, I've got this disease that I know to be completely destructive. I felt lost and out of control. I had no idea how to save myself from what I saw as a imminent disaster. It was a terrible time, but that was before I discovered that I could transform my life eating foods like pork ribs and smoked tri-tip. That was before I discovered that I could transform my life eating foods like smoked chicken and Korean style short ribs. Look at these pictures, y'all. If you like it, wave a hand. That was before I discovered I could transform my life eating foods like smash burgers and French fries. For all you that know me, you know I love these smash burgers. That was before I discovered that I could transform my life eating foods like my go-tos, ribeye steak, wild-caught salmon, and bacon and eggs. By the way, I ate all that. Every single picture I just showed you was from a meal I actually ate. I used to be afraid that I couldn't save myself from obesity, but that was before I showed Jessica Lee how to transform her body eating foods like chicken enchiladas and this Thai-inspired lime jalapeno turkey lard and jambalaya. Look at these pictures, people. I was afraid before, but that was before I showed Rodney how to transform his body eating foods like seared ahi, crispy duck, this bacon, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwich, and this Korean barbecue. That was before I showed Candace how to transform her body eating RPP pizzas and pastas. That was before I showed Rain how to transform her body eating foods like shrimp and scallops and buttercream sauce and shrimp ceviche. Anybody getting excited about what you're hearing? That was before I showed Melanie how to transform her body eating foods like filet mignon and wild-caught lobster tail drenched with lemon butter sauce. That was before I showed CJ how to transform his body eating foods like pho and this seafood extravaganza he's got here with lobster, crab, and shrimp. Come on, that was before I showed Seth how to transform his body eating foods like shrimp, million meatball soup, and bacon-wrapped onion burgers. Come on, somebody should be smiling here. I know I can't see most of your faces right now. Somebody ought to be smiling with these pictures. By the way, every single thing you just saw, those are real pictures posted by real people inside of our community. These are not stock images or anything like that. As you will see, what I'm sharing with you today is just different from anything you've seen before. These are real people eating real food while experiencing real transformation. And they did it in the same way that I transformed my body, my health, and my life, without counting calories or wasting my day counting points, without restricting calories and feeling all depleted and dizzy all the time, without having to go to the gym to lift weights and do strenuous exercise, and without expensive diet programs. The bonus here is that I've effortlessly maintained my health and body for 3 years now. Hear me, y'all. Hear me. If you're anything like me, you've lost weight before and then you went back up. I've effortlessly, listen to that word, maintained my health and body for 3 years now. I don't even think about my weight anymore. This is the easiest way to live a healthy and happy life with the best body that I've ever had. And now there are thousands of other people who will tell you the same. Today, I'm going to give you the 5 keys to how I did it all. Key number 1. What type of food makes our body transformation almost effortless? Key number 2, why eating more, think about this, eating more and staying full speeds up our body transformation. Key number 3, which exercises to stop because they may stall our body transformation. Key number 4, which so-called healthy food will block our bodies from transforming into their optimal state. Key number 5, the 2 things that virtually guarantee our success that we need to keep by our side at all times. Now, let's go back in my story. As a kid, I grew up heavy. Raise a hand, put it, there's a little button there you can push to put your hand up if you identify with this. Hands up if you identify with growing up heavy. I grew up heavy. I was over 200 pounds in junior high school. As you can imagine, kids can be cruel. There was a whole lot of what we would call now fat shaming. It was always comments going around about my size and my body. My body became the subject of every interaction as a little kid. It totally consumed my awareness. I remember I loved to play basketball, but when you play pickup games, sometimes they would play what we call shirts and skins, which meant everybody gets on the court. You don't know who anybody, you know who your teammates are. So in order to figure out who's on what team, half the folks on the court take off your shirt, half keep a shirt on. So you know if you're going to pass the ball to somebody who's in the same situation as you, shirts or skins. The idea that it was even possible that I'd have to take off my shirt, maybe stop playing basketball, what I loved. When it came to girls, I knew girls, but girlfriends, nope. Self-esteem was at an all-time low. I grew up that way. Self-esteem at an all-time low. High school started and I lost a little weight, changed schools. I got in shape, felt kind of amazing. Started college kind of in okay shape. Then put on a ton of weight. I was in the dining halls eating all you can eat, eating all the wrong things all the time. And I started putting on weight. And the weight swings of adulthood began. The last 15 years or so, weight has just been climbing. I've been avoiding pool parties. While everybody else was excited about summer hitting and pool parties coming around, I was mortified, trying to be out in the sun. Yeah, right. I was already sweating all the time. I didn't even want to be in the sun. I became invisible to women. Can anybody identify what I'm talking about? I became invisible. It's like I wasn't there. More recently, I got creative in disguising my shape. I used to buy XXL black t-shirts in bulk because I thought they were slimming and would hide my man boobs. Anybody identify what I'm talking about? I'm a man buying black to be slimming. Come on. Oh, I remember going to Lululemon with my wife, and for some reason, I just said, okay, let's go and let's try. I was trying to find something to wear. Went in and every single thing I tried on was tight in all the wrong spots. Anybody know what I'm talking about? It was terrible. Every single time somebody went to try to find my size, I saw the look in their eyes like, ooh, not going to find this. It was terrible. Everything was wrong. Everything I put on was wrong. Everything made me more and more and more self-conscious. And so I had to just leave the place, just dejected. Not a single thing in the store will fit me without looking crazy. I was embarrassed to look at photos. I avoided cameras. I hated to even look at myself in the mirror. You guys, I would walk past mirrors without looking at myself. What I really wanted at that time was to be in control. I wanted to put my hands on the wheel of my life, to feel strong and self-determined. I tried everything, so many diets, but it was like Groundhog Day. No matter what I tried, I always end up back in the same place or worse. I tried a low fat diet. I tried the high fiber diet. I tried paleo, keto. I even tried this cabbage soup diet. I don't know if any of you guys know about that. The cabbage soup diet. Eat nothing but cabbage soup for weeks. I tried the master cleanse, and I did it for 40 days. Some of y'all in here did it. You did it a day, 2 days, a weekend, or something. I did 40 days. That's that all lemon and cayenne pepper and grade B maple syrup diet. You see that picture? My sister and I would go around the neighborhood, pick the lemons off of every tree we could find, drive around because we were serious. I did 40 days on the master cleanse. I was serious about trying to address what was happening with me, but the same thing kept on happening. Sarah and I, my wife Sarah and I, even water fasted for 20 days. If you don't know what a water fast is, that means we ate nothing, consumed nothing but water for 20 days. When I say I tried everything, I tried everything. Some of you are thinking, I bet he didn't try diet pills. Ha! Tried that too. I only stopped because one day I took some pills and did some push-ups and I couldn't get my heart to stop racing. And it scared me. My heart was pounding and it couldn't stop. It scared me, so I had to get off those pills. The old recipe I was on is no longer legal. It was causing liver failure and heart damage. Can anybody here identify with hurting yourself trying to lose some weight? But no matter what I did, it never kept the weight off. It never kept the weight off. You can identify what I'm talking about. Post in the comments and tell me you understand what I'm saying. Anybody in here like me? Anybody like me at all? No matter what you try, it just didn't work. I just kept getting bigger and bigger and more unhealthy while people around me just didn't. I had some friends that no matter what they did, they stayed lean. I thought maybe I'm cursed. Maybe it's just me. Anybody thought you might be cursed? Maybe it's just you. You got friends that just can't help it be skinny, but you just keep on putting on weight. I felt cursed. Come on, that picture on the right. I hated looking at that picture. I felt like my back was so wide, made my arms look like little pterodactyl arms. I hated it. Kept getting bigger and bigger. Now I'm at my worst. I was in a relationship and I knew that my relationship with my wife was taking a hit. You know, I could feel it. I could feel that where I was causing a problem in my relationship. My sweating all the time was a real problem. Couldn't really snuggle in bed. Come on now, anybody? Somebody put a hand up. Couldn't snuggle in bed. Anybody? It was a little too hot to be next to another hot body. I was too hot. Anybody identify what I'm talking about? Rolling over on top of her and dripping sweat from my face into her eyes. It wasn't the best way to start a romantic encounter. Come on, somebody knows what I'm talking. I'm not alone out here. I'm not the only one. It was uncomfortable. My consistent and horrible gas. I had, oh God, oh my goodness. Terrible gas, my loud snoring, keeping her awake at night. She had to jab me to wake me up so she could sleep. My incessant allergy attacks every morning when I woke up. My years of on and off diarrhea. Y'all, the bathroom was in my bedroom. Think about what I'm saying. It took a toll on my relationship. Suffice it to say, my wife's excitement about me had to be at an all-time low. My negative body image had led me to a really dark place, the way I thought about myself. In my darkness, I started to get creative. I remember one year I said, honey, I don't want to see anyone on my birthday. Let's just you and me hang out, babe. Mom, just you and me. Let's you and me hang out. Babe, let's disappear into nature. I pretended that it was a romantic gesture when really I just couldn't bear to see the shock and awe in anyone's eyes because of my size. I couldn't bear to watch them try to avoid talking about it as I sweated through the conversation. I was also hypersensitive about eating in front of people at that size. I didn't want them thinking of, every time I take a bite, they look at me like, woo, stop, boy. God forbid having to take picture after picture after picture because it's your birthday. It was really a low time, a disastrous and self-conscious time. At what felt like my lowest point, I stumbled upon a novel bit of research by a doctor named Jose Antonio, who was studying what happens to people when they overeat protein. And what he found was that even when people consumed over 5 times the recommended daily allowance of protein, or as he called it, a hypercaloric high protein diet, it didn't result in any increase in body fat. Now, I had never heard anything like that at that time. I had never heard of that. Somebody being in a situation where they can overeat but not gain weight. And that one finding gave me enough hope to let a question begin to sink into my mind. What else do I not know? What else have I missed in my studies? So I took a walk up at Will Rogers Park in Los Angeles. I'm faced with this new information, and I reflected on my life, thinking back 2 decades of back pain and neck pain and knee pain, not to mention the psychological pain of feeling worthless, low, disgusting, unattractive, embarrassed of myself, powerless. These are all things I felt about myself. I knew that I could do one of 3 things. I could do nothing, bury my head in the sand and act like everything was okay and hope my life would magically improve in time. I could continue to waste away the best years of my life, making new attempts at old diets that had already failed me while exhausting myself in the gym. Or 3, I could make the choice that I did, the choice that not only changed my life and my family's life, but the lives of thousands of other people too. The choice to grab the wheel and take back control. That's the choice I want y'all to make today. The choice to grab the wheel, take back control of your life. The next morning, I dove headfirst down the rabbit hole into research mode, like I was back in school getting my doctorate degree. Luckily, in a previous life, I was basically a professional researcher, so I knew how to dig through hundreds of academic papers and conference proceedings and cutting-edge research to locate the very latest in health information. I started finding things that sounded different from what my doctor was telling me. One of the most interesting things I learned was that it often takes almost 2 decades for new scientific discoveries to become common medical practice for dietitians, doctors, and other medical professionals. What that meant was that I was learning things on the cutting edge of contemporary research that my doctors might not know about for almost 20 years. Hear me. It is possible for us as a species, human beings, to learn something today and for your doctor to not know it for 20 years. So instead of waiting on my doctor to catch up, I just went ahead and moved forward. I knew that what I wanted to find in my research was a way forward that was easy to implement, that was sustainable for the long term. It had to be satisfying. It had to make sense evolutionarily. I mean, 100,000-year context. And if I'm keeping it real, I didn't only want to be healthy. I wanted to feel attractive again. I wanted to feel sexy. I wanted to feel like the man. You know what I'm saying? I wanted more than just to be healthy. Being healthy is perfect and beautiful and wonderful, but I wanted to feel good when I looked in the mirror. So I pulled all my research together into a plan that I could follow. I wanted something I could actually follow long-term. 10 months later, it had worked. I got my body back and more. My body looks and feels better at 45 than it ever has in my life. That's ever in my life. I feel and look better than I ever have ever at 45 years old. I even went back to the doctor several times to get my blood work done. You know what the doctor said to me now? He looked back at that sheet of paper, looked at me, looked back at sheet of paper, looked at me. Blood sugar perfect. Cholesterol perfect. Inflammation undetectable anywhere in my body. That's unheard of for somebody 45 years old. I was in perfect health, not good health, perfect health. The doctor was blown away. He said to me, keep doing what you're doing. Today, we call that plan that changed my life forever the reverse protein pyramid, or RPP for short. RPP is the most effortless way I've ever found to transform my body. It virtually guaranteed my success. I ate as much as I wanted. I never felt hungry. I didn't have any dips in energy, which meant I started getting way more productive and the quality of my work was better. And the only exercise I did was walking. That's it. I'm telling you, RPP is just easy. You look at this picture thinking he is lying. He was doing something. No. Walking. That's it. RPP is easy. Easy. 110 pounds later, I gave away my clothes, threw away my underwear with the elastic that started to stretch out, started looking like bacon. And the Lululemon, hey, looks great on me now. For the first time in my life, I walk around shirtless. I'm free. I am free of concern about I could rip this shirt off right now, do the rest of this presentation, no shirt on, and wouldn't even be self-conscious at all. I am free. I leave my house now with no shirt on for the day. Walk away from the house with no shirt. I didn't have the opportunity to put something on if I needed it. It could start raining. I don't have one. That's how I'm living now. The sun and I are friends. Pool parties, sign me up. I'm getting teased now for how lean I am. And with that has come a newfound optimism. I solved this huge problem I had. Now I feel like I can do anything. Mental and emotional stability led to increased closeness with my wife as well. Y'all, something with that changed. My mind changed, my emotions changed, and now it has changed something about my relationship, because the better I felt about myself and about my life, the better I showed up for my relationship. Nowadays, my wife is consistently rubbing on my six-pack. And since I mentioned my sex life earlier, my wife has very vigorously reported that some things have changed. And a longtime dream of ours is now a reality. We had a big dream back then, a huge dream. It's now become a reality. And I know it's connected to me getting things together. We moved to Hawaii, y'all. I'm coming to you live right now from the big island of Hawaii. We are living our dream. My professional life changed as well. I had been working on a business venture for a long time. After I got healthy, I was able to get a whole lot more done. In one project I was working on, I got more done in 5 months than I had in 5 years. Before that, I was scared of my instincts. I spent decades afraid of my own instincts. Now I trust myself again. What's that worth? I trust myself again because I got things together and things got together. I trust myself to lead people again, which is life-changing for me because I was born to explore, discover, and share my discoveries. I was born to lead. And now I'm aligned with my life's purpose again, which brings me back to RPP. I shared it with my family and it worked for them too. That's my mom and my sister right there, y'all. I think my mom is in here right now. Mom, if you're in here, wave. It worked for my family. It wasn't just me now. It worked for my family. My wife, Sarah, transformed her body and her health, lost 75 pounds, reduced her anxiety to the point where she can now get a good night's sleep without worrying she's going to miss the alarm in the morning. That's a big deal. Turn down the noise on anxiety. How many of us would want that? She says things like, I feel like myself again. She's regained her youthful, happy, free-spirited disposition. She had lost that along the way. She didn't realize until she got herself together, got her health together, and felt like, wow, I'm back. There was a light that turned on inside of her. How many of y'all want that? I mean, look at us, y'all. Look at what we did. Look at this. Look at what we accomplished. Come on. That's a big deal, right? I'm still tripping looking at this picture right now. Look at what we did. Oh, my goodness. Even my mom. Look at mommy. She's 74 years young. That's my mom, Gwen. I think she's in here. I think I saw Gwendy in here. Mommy, if you're here, raise your hand and wave to the people. That's my mom right there. She transformed her body and her health. Mommy told me she weighs less today than when she got married 50 years ago. 50 years ago, she weighs less today than then. Come on, how many of y'all want to feel something like that? She reports, she told me her renewed energy makes her feel younger than ever. Come on, man, my mom, younger than ever. Check out my sister, Inga Nico here. Look at her. She's a management executive, so she's a busy person. She invests in technology and stuff. She's transformed her body and her health along this journey as well. She reports that less of her mental space is constantly being used thinking about how she looks. She's not thinking about her body all the time. This is a big one. She says now the doctors have started listening to her more because they can't blame every symptom on her weight. Anybody used to doctors not listening to you, blaming everything on your weight? Come on, my sister said that's changed now. She's tried a lot of programs, but she says nothing's worked like RPP. RPP's not only worked for my family, though. I've shared it with thousands of other people, too. Thousands. Like my man, Rodney, a dad of 3 and a high-powered attorney who transformed his body and health, lost over 100 pounds on RPP. He overcame his sleep apnea, his narcolepsy, which had him falling asleep at the wheel while he was driving to work. Come on, y'all. All of that turned around when he lost the weight. Rodney also gave away 200 business suits that no longer fit him. Life-changing. Like Jessica. She's a mother of twins with a full-time career. She dramatically transformed her body and her health as well. And for the first time in her life, she can wear thigh-high boots, she says. Jessica's now so energized that her kids can hardly keep up with her, even on their bikes. And most importantly, she says now because of this journey, she's given herself permission to prioritize taking care of herself. I think somebody needs to hear that. Somebody needs to hear that. I'm going to read that one again. Because of this journey, She's given herself permission to prioritize taking care of herself again. She's putting herself first finally because of this journey she's been on with us in here in RPP. Like Almise, look at this picture, y'all. Mother of 3, a professional powerhouse, lost over 90 pounds and reports that she's loving herself like never before. She has improved mental clarity, mood, and she developed the ability to advocate for her own needs. Sounding familiar? She talks about how her confidence has gone all the way up and how now she's turning heads and she loves it. Like Wale, a physician and father of 3, he transformed his body and health, lost over 100 pounds. Reversed his trajectory towards stroke, heart attack, kidney failure, and neuropathy. He improved his energy level, mental resolve, his focus, and his confidence, and has become an all-around physical beast. He is officially the buffest man in RPP. Wale is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hugh, I mean, the guy, you look at him now, his muscles just bursting through. I think he's the buffest guy in RPP. Well, Blake might, there's another guy here that might give him a run for his money, but we'll talk about Blake a little later. Like Essence, look at that. Look at the blue dresses. Just look at the blue dresses for a minute. Somebody just look closely. Essence is a nurse practitioner and a mom. She transformed her body and her health because of RPP. She reports showing up differently in her marriage after regaining her confidence. And she says getting her mojo back. She got her look at that blue dress. Got her mojo back. Now she says she can wear whatever and shop wherever she wants. She recently said, I no longer look pregnant. I love the woman in the mirror from all angles. She tells a story inside the program. She was at church one day, goes up to the front of the church, and she says the lady brings her up, and before she can tell her what she came up there for, the lady bends down, puts her hands on her stomach, starts praying for the child that is not in her stomach. Can you imagine? Standing up in front of the church, they praying for the baby that ain't even in your stomach. She was just swollen in her stomach. Her weight was carrying in the stomach. People praying for the baby that's not there. Can you just come on? Now you can't get the girl to stop wearing a 2-piece bikini. Life changing. Like Danya, a woman with a full-time career who's also an avid traveler. She lost over 100 pounds and no longer has constant aches and pains. Anybody here got constant aches and pains and would like those to go away? When Danya looks in the mirror, she genuinely feels love for herself now, she reports. And she enjoys knowing she can sit comfortably in an airplane seat and not have to ask for a seatbelt extension. Think about that for a minute. Having to get on the plane and you thinking about it before you get on the plane. You thinking about it while you're walking down the aisle. You thinking about it when you sit down. You thinking about it when the people sit next to you. You thinking about when you have to raise your hand and tell the flight attendant to come over. You want to say it quietly. Could you get me? You don't want to tell them. Think about that. Doesn't have to do any of that anymore. None of it. She's excited to wear a bathing suit and a pair of shorts for the first time and feels proud of herself. How many of y'all would like to feel proud of yourself like that? Get over some of these hurdles. Like Romel, just look at this. Romel, just goodness gracious. Look at this. Romel, this man, he's a project manager at a biotech company. He transformed his body and health. He's down something like 110 pounds. He reports his depression and anxiety are gone. What is that worth, people? But maybe most importantly, says his smile is even bigger now, which he didn't think was possible. I met Ramel not too long ago in person at the beach when I was traveling in LA, and he gave me a big hug, and as he wrapped me up, he said into my ear, "You saved my life." You see, Ramel went to the doctor, and the doctor told him, "Ramel, you no longer have diabetes." He started off with us with diabetes, and now he reversed his own diabetes. In his words, he said, "Thank you for saving my life." How many of y'all sitting here with a diagnosis that is terrible and you wish you didn't have it anymore? Ramel turned his around, cured himself of his diabetes. Oh, like Dewan, music producer and educator. He transformed his body and health. He's back to his high school weight. He reports that his creativity is off the charts. He's a musician, a composer, a producer. He says that he's just able to pull down ideas now in a way he never could before. His creativity is off the charts. He thought he got in here to lose weight, but something happened to his creativity along the way. His doctor has taken him off of all of his blood pressure medications. He showed me on camera. He took the pills and poured them into the trash. All the medications his doctor took him off of, he poured them into the trash. How many of y'all got multiple bottles of stuff the doctor's giving you because you need to take this and that and this and that and this for the side effects of that? And he's got all his meds gone, all of them off. because he came over here to be with us. Anybody out there want to be off all those medications like my man Dewan? Like Kingpin, let's keep on going. Kingpin started this journey at 350 pounds. Here's another one, says, RPP saved my life. This is a quote from him. RPP saved my life. He no longer has to carry around a towel with him everywhere he goes because he's sweating all the time. He said the intense sweating is gone. His chronic back and knee pain with debilitating migraines is gone. Y'all think about that. He came here to lose some weight, but the migraines went away. I told you you're going to hear some things in here. This is just different. What's happening over here is just different. It's just different. We're different around here. He says, this is a quote from Kingpin. He says, this is the best I've ever felt in my life, ever. That's a grown man. Best he's ever felt in his life, ever. How many of you would like to feel the best you've ever felt, ever? Like Dr. Edward B. is another physician in the program. He lost over 60 pounds. He says he's happy to look in the mirror now. He says, I get to ride rides with my kids at amusement parks. And better than that, I'm no longer pre-diabetic. Are you hearing a theme, people? Like Dr. Kiana Caldwell, just look at that picture on the right. Just look at this woman. Grown folks turning everything around. Come on, that's a gigantic change. Like Claudette. Claudette is back at her junior high school weight. Do you hear me? Like Jeremiah, down over 75 pounds. Look at his arms. Look at the pythons on this man. Like Don, transformed. Banshee, transformed. Dino, down 100 pounds. I think Dino's down 112. And just recently, Mickey reported to the community that he's down over 100 pounds. This man is in his 60s, down over 100 pounds. Are you hearing me? Crystal, this one. Like Crystal, she was unsuccessful getting pregnant for over 15 years. Her doctors were telling her over and over that having a baby is just not going to happen for you. That's what they said to her. They told her it's not going to happen. You're not going to have a baby. You're not going to be able to have a successful pregnancy. Just over a month into RPP, Crystal reported that her cycle had regulated in less than a year. She had reached an optimal weight. And guess what happened? Crystal got pregnant. Fast forward 9 months, and the miracle baby Cleopatra was born. You see her right there. Look at little Cleopatra. Crystal was now absolutely certain that with her knowledge, her new knowledge, born of RPP, she has the power to heal herself. Her doctor said it was impossible. 15 years of trying. Little over a year in here, she's got the baby in her arms. Are y'all hearing me? This is different. Thousands of people. I could tell you story after story after story after story of transformation, deep transformation, not just weight loss. That's inevitable in here. Weight loss is the inevitable part. Everybody in here loses weight. It's not even about that. Transformation and transformation. Come on, it's just every week I hear something that's just completely mind-blowing. Every week. I can spend the rest of the night doing nothing but telling you about what's happening for folks in here. Oh, but we got to get to it. Y'all came here to learn some things. Let me tell you some of that. So enough of talking about the transformations. It's time to answer the question you're thinking now. How on earth are they doing it? So let's get into the 5 keys to transforming our bodies, our health, and our lives without counting calories or going to the gym. I'm getting hot. Sorry, I'm heating up. I get excited about my people doing well. I get excited. Let's get into it. So here's key number 1. What type of food makes our body transformation almost effortless? Whew, what type of food? Brother, gotta take a sip. All right, what types of food makes our body transformation almost effortless? All right, let's go. Here we go. So here's the old way we try to transform our bodies. Portion control, constantly hungry. Y'all know it. Anybody tried portion control? Like you had little cup measures and you put your little food in the cup measure. I see Martine smiling. She knows what I'm talking about. Y'all done it. A little cup measure of this, cup measure of that, a quarter cup of that, your little measurement. Portion control. Keeping you hungry all the time. It relies on willpower. It is not sustainable. How many of us tried the whole counting calories thing? Counting calories. Anybody done that? Just counting, kept sitting there, you had the calculator out, the the app out, trying to figure out how much, weighing stuff to figure out how much of this do I have times how many calories or how many pounds, just counting calories, using complicated point systems, weighing each item of food. Nobody's got time for all that. How many of you guys ate diet foods? Eating leaves and rice cakes and frozen dinners. That's the old way. And then there's the new million-year-old way. First, we got to go back. The human diet remained relatively consistent for millions of years of human history. Our bodies had adapted to eating and thriving on certain foods. When I say thriving, what that means is living without our main diseases. Y'all understand that there's a time when human beings didn't have the diseases y'all have today? Soak that up for a second. We had adapted and we started to thrive on certain foods. Then about 12,000 years ago, we figured out if we put some seeds in the ground and waited, we can get a dependable source of calories in return. If we spent a lot of time fighting nature to stop it from growing and stop other plants from growing around it where we wanted our calories to come from. And then diligently, we stood guard, protecting those plants we wanted to eat, protect them from bugs and protect them from other animals. And that was agriculture. And it completely disrupted the human diet. We decoupled ourselves from the foods that our bodies had adapted to eating over millions of years. In the last 100 years, things have gotten even much worse. It's even worse than that. Grocery stores, restaurants, and delivery services have made it even more convenient for us to consume genetically modified, selectively bred, and industrially produced foods that move us further away from the diet that's evolutionarily consistent with our bodies. This relatively new way of eating, historically speaking, has made things that were once rare in our lives very common. You see the picture there. Things like diabetes, obesity, heart disease, even cavities were rare or unheard of in human populations until more recently. Think about this. When was the last time you saw an obese lion or gazelle living in the wild? We don't. You never see it because they're eating a diet that's evolutionarily consistent for themselves. Let me ask you this. What would happen if we fed our pet puppy a consistent diet of chips and soda? How would that little poor puppy look and feel? What would be the health consequences of that diet? It's the same for us. Certain foods hurt us and other foods help us to heal and to thrive. RPP is simply a modern approach to eating in a way that we thrived on before agriculture. So there's no starving at all in this program. We eat a healthy, nutrient-rich, energy-giving foods that taste delicious. We just end up with a slimmer body and optimal health. People who embrace RPP experience things like energy that lasts throughout the day. Anybody want that? Anybody want a whole lot of energy that's going to last all day? Anybody interested in that? That's what we get in RPP. People report that they have energy that lasts throughout the day. We get a boost in mental clarity, focus, and concentration. People report having longer and more relaxing sleep without snoring. A lot of folks, their snoring has gone away. We have reduced gas and bloating, less body pain and inflammation. I hope I'm on somebody's street right now. They look and feel younger, and their bodies naturally transform into their optimal versions of themselves. And they report improved health all around. They find themselves happier and consistently in a better mood. How important is that, y'all? How important is that? Consistently happy and in a better mood. Check out this post that went up recently from Cleo Munoz. Cleo says here, make it a little bigger. I feel better. She said, my relationships seem better, and that's because of RPP. I feel better about myself, and in turn, I find joy in things again. My marriage and friendships were good, but now they're great. RPP has turned on the light back inside me to enjoy things and people again. Talking about the light turning on back inside of her because of RPP. Y'all came here because thought it was about weight loss, but I'm telling you, along with it, some things have changed. The lights are coming on. Here's another recent post from Dino. Check this out. Dino says, you truly have to look at weight loss and RPP as a side effect of its true power. Never mentioned this before, but my depression has damn near vanished. I used to have bad anxiety, but now I have courage. You just have to realize, really try to understand what I'm saying. My boss the other day took one look at me and said, damn, you look skinny. You look like a different person. I am a different person. And not because of the weight release, but because of all the other aspects. Stand tall, walk tall, feel unstoppable. These are words from somebody who feels different. It's not just the weight that has changed in his life. It's not about the weight. He said that's a byproduct. That's an inevitability. But he says, instead, I don't have depression and anxiety. Instead of anxiety, he's got courage. That's a huge, huge change. You guys, before I got started on this journey, I had my own struggles. And, listen, I'm sure I'm not alone in this. I used to experience depression. And the way depression worked for me was that from time to time, I'd get caught in a loop of thinking about how bad and terrible things were. I'd look at myself and think there's nothing about you that matters at all. You're a waste of a human. You have nothing to give. Everything you've done has been a mistake. You thought you had something to give in this life. You're wrong. I would spend weeks and weeks and weeks just not being able to see anything but what's terrible about my life. I didn't like myself, didn't like my body, didn't like it. It was terrible. I remember standing on the top of my apartment building one day. I had rooftop access from my unit. Sometimes I go out there and just kind of look at the city. And I remember looking down over the edge one time from the rooftop of my building and thinking, if I happen to fall over, if I hit it the perfectly right spot, no one would ever know that I did it on purpose. I'd hit the ground, the lights would go out. I probably wouldn't feel anything because it was a direct hit. And all of this would be over. No one even know that's what I did. They think I just slipped and fell. I know where I was standing when I had this thought. Every time I drive by there when I'm in LA, I see it. I remember the moment. I was thinking these things about myself. But I don't think that way anymore. It's gone. It's gone. Oh, like I mentioned before, the dietary portion of RPP is simply a modern approach to eating in a way that we thrived on before agriculture. We prioritize protein, we moderate fat based on how you want to transform your body, and we neglect sugar and other harmful toxins. Okay, that's key number 1. What foods make our body transformation almost effortless? Let me pick up the pace here. Key number 2, why eating more and staying full speeds up our body transformation. Come closer and listen to this, you guys. We don't need to count calories. We don't even need to restrict calories. Instead, we stay full and our body transformation will be easy. Blake in this photo went from a hefty Tom Cruise to a freaking Wolverine. He's eating racks on racks on racks of ribs. And this is an old picture. He's even more ripped and buff now. Every time I look up, he's out eating Korean barbecue, all you can eat. And look at this man. As much as he eats, he's ripped. When our body stays in a low calorie state for too long, it thinks that it's experiencing famine and it slows down energy use. That means that continually eating too little will cause your body to burn less. This is exactly the opposite of what we want to have happen. If you prioritize the right type of food, you can eat as much as you want and not gain anything. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. The longer we spend time in a low calorie state, the less and less fat the body's going to burn each day. And this makes sense because your body's hardwired to try to increase your chances of survival. By starving yourself for long periods of time, you're telling the body to restrain from using all the storage so that we can make it through the tough season until we can find some food again. It's adaptive. It makes sense. If we prioritize the right type of food, we can eat as much as we want and not gain anything. So there's no reason to endure unnecessary restriction ever. Rodney ate more than anyone in the program, and he lost 100 pounds in 6 months. Okay, that was key number 2. Why eating more food and staying full speeds up our body transformation. Key number 3, which exercises to stop because they may stall our body transformation. There's a misleading myth that we've been telling ourselves for a long time, the myth that we can exercise our way into good health. What makes this myth so insidious is that there's a little bit of truth buried inside of it. The truth is that movement matters. That is true. But our super healthy ancestors never went to the gym and never lifted weights at all. So we know for sure that strenuous exercise is not necessary for robust health. For millions of years, humans have been healthy and there were never any gyms, ever. No amount of strenuous exercise can offset the toxicity, damage, and malnutrition that our contemporary diet causes. This is why, if you're like me, the gym wasn't the solution. No amount of strenuous exercise can provide the body with the necessary building blocks it needs to generate systemic and robust health. And strenuous exercise is more likely to cause repeated injuries like pinched nerves, tweaked backs, and blown out knees. Now, I will admit, this picture right here is a stock image. That's because it's rare for us to get these kind of injuries now. Moving your body is a small but important part of transformation. Roughly 90% of your body transformation, up or down, depends on the food you eat. and other lifestyle factors that we teach in the program. But let's talk about how to make that last 10% speed up and not slow down our transformation. We have something called the aerobic threshold. Think of your aerobic threshold as a point. You stay underneath this point and your body are going to use fat to provide energy to your muscles. Go over this point and our bodies are going to primarily use other energy sources instead of fat. Now, there are some complex tests you can take to kind of calculate your aerobic threshold, but you do not need to. You don't have to bother with that in RPP. No one in the system at all. No one in RPP is using this. They don't do it at all. All we do to take advantage of this reality is walk 30 minutes a day at a brisk pace. That's it. Super simple. If going to the gym and lifting weights makes you happy, you can do it. Just know it's not necessary for optimal health. That was key number 3. What exercises to stop because they may stall our body transformation. Key number 4, which so-called healthy food will block our bodies from transforming into their optimal state. Eating healthy foods that did not exist before agriculture began makes optimal body transformation almost impossible. Eating these things is not evolutionarily consistent with our historical dietary practices and can show up in our lives as the following. Let me know if you're struggling with any of these issues. Body aches. It can show up as body aches and pains. Eating the wrong stuff can show up as inflammation, digestion issues, hormone imbalances, skin issues, food cravings, brain fog, decreased energy, depression, difficulty sleeping, poor digestion, poor libido, critical health conditions like type 2 diabetes, heart conditions, and high blood pressure. If these foods are a part of our diet, our bodies will never transform into their optimal state. Avoid them and eat the right foods, and you can rev up your metabolism and turn your body into a fat-burning machine. For example, quinoa. Quinoa, superfood, right? Wrong. Quinoa contains something called phytic acid. Now, phytic acid is an anti-nutrient that blocks your body from absorbing minerals. Think about that for a second. It blocks the body from absorbing minerals, the things you need to be healthy. How about spinach? If you're around my age or older, you remember Popeye. I don't know why he was just buff in the forearms, but that's where he was buff. He used to eat the spinach, right? And he would get strong, his muscles would get big, and he can beat up Brutus. It's supposed that spinach supposedly has tons of iron in it. Wrong. You don't get any of that iron. It has some iron in it, but you can't absorb it. It's a terrible delivery system for iron. Studies show that the most iron you can get out of spinach is about 2% of the spinach that's in it. That's the most that's ever been shown. Usually it's at 0. On top of that, it has an insane amount of oxalate in it. Oxalate is just this stuff that if you look under a microscope, it looks like glass. Shards of glass. You eat spinach and these microscopic shards of glass get stuck in certain places in your body, and you think you got an injury, but no, you just got oxalate building up inside your body. We thought this stuff was healthy. Wrong, not healthy. Canola oil. Look at this beautiful little plant oil. Aren't vegetable oils healthy for us? Wrong. They're highly inflammatory, highly damaging in multiple ways. It's extremely unstable under heat. When you put light on it, it starts to break down. If there's pressure on it, it starts to break down. And all these things cause oxidation, and they release free radicals inside the body. This stuff right here, canola oil, has been linked to diabetes, obesity, heart disease, irritable bowel syndrome, inflammation, macular degeneration. If your eyes start going on and on and on and on and on, and all these other diseases linked to this stuff that we thought was special and healthy and heart healthy, all the things you see. I think that in the next 20 years, this substance right here will become illegal for use in food in the United States. That's how terrible it is, but we think of it as a healthy food. Anthropologists and paleontologists confirm that for the majority of our evolution, humans have been growing in stature, that means size, and brain size, until foods from agriculture began to dominate our diets, where we see a sharp decline in both. For the last 10,000 years, human beings and human brains have been shrinking, y'all. Our brains are now smaller than the average Neanderthal brain was. Come on. These certain so-called healthy foods that showed up in the human diet after agriculture began might be hurting us and blocking our bodies from transforming into their optimal state. Okay. That was key number 4. What so-called healthy foods block our bodies from transforming into an optimal state? Key number 5, the 2 things that virtually guarantee our success that we need to keep by our side at all times. Looking back, I now realize that when I was on my final body transformation journey, a journey that I had failed so many times in the past, I had 2 new things by my side at all times. 1, I had someone who could relate to my struggle, and 2, I had someone who could help me like get through, help guide me through when I got stuck and I had questions. I realize now that if access to information alone was enough, I would have never found myself up at 275 pounds, snoring, sweating, hurting, pre-diabetic, etc. Information alone wasn't enough. Luckily for me, I participated in a support group during my body transformation journey. We met live weekly and kept in touch most days in between. This group included several types of people, but two stand out to me now as being critical to my success. One who was in my shoes, that was also trying hard to climb out of the hole that they were in. It made me feel like I wasn't alone on my journey. And one who was like a guide, like a mentor, who had been successful against amazing odds, reminded me of what was really possible and fueled my determination. Having these two at my fingertips ensured my success. Here's why you need a mentor, y'all. You can't teach yourself something you don't even know you need to learn. You can't teach what you don't even know you need to learn. Only the person who can teach you is someone who has learned it already. But more than teaching you new ways to use your skills, new strategies to improve your body, and new habits to improve your health, a mentor can teach you why you need to know what you don't know. A mentor will keep you from putting too much effort into things that won't ultimately serve you. Mentors know the difference between activity and accomplishment. Reinventing the wheel is a long journey. A mentor is your shortcut. Sometimes it's hard to see just how great we are and how much we're able to accomplish. A mentor has an outside perspective. They can help you see the path from who you are to who you're meant to be and guide your steps along the path. You can spend your whole life looking for answers, or you can learn from a mentor and spend your whole life applying them to achieve success. Here's some people you may know who succeeded because of their mentors. Yep, it's true. Even Oprah had a mentor. About Maya Angelou, Oprah said, she was there for me always, guiding me through some of the most important years of my life. Mentors are important, and I don't think anybody makes it in the world without some form of mentorship. Steven Spielberg and J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams went on to direct some blockbuster movies like Mission Impossible 3, Cloverfield, Star Trek, Star Wars, Episode 6, The Force Awakens. These big movies. J.J. is now one of the highest grossing directors in the world and is considered by many to be the new Steven Spielberg. Why? He had a little mentorship. Like Denzel and Chad, Elton John and Eminem, Jane Fonda and Meryl Streep, Ray Charles and Quincy Jones, me and my wife. Okay, that was key number 5. The two things we need to keep by our side at all times that virtually guarantee our success. All right, if you take one thing away from today, I want you to know that the system can work for you, even if nothing you've tried in the past did. We were all just like you. We tried it all too. I have developed a framework that gives you a clear path to transform your body and your life without counting calories or going to the gym. And I've just outlined this system for you today. So can we take a few minutes and let me tell you how I can implement, how you guys can all implement this framework? Can I take a minute to show you all that? Would y'all mind that? Would you mind if I take a minute to show you how you can implement this program? Okay, I see some thumbs going up. Thank you. All right, let's get into it. Right now, I'd like to introduce you to the RPP LIFE system. It's everything we need to get the body of our dreams and the health and life we all deserve. The RPP program is not just a bunch of theory and ideas. It's all been tested to work by thousands of people. Over the past 2 years, we've tested, developed, and optimized the RPP LIFE system into what it is today. To prove RPP worked over a 2-year period of time, we took 19 groups of 50 to 100 people each through the system before we launched it publicly. And as you can see, each of those groups has had tremendous success on the program. So the big question is, how can you apply this system for yourself without counting calories, without restricting calories, and without going to the gym if you don't want to? Let me ask you something. Would you like me to give you the keys to your new life? Would you like to have me right there with you, guiding you through the process whenever you need it? Would you like to have access to all of this right now? That's a real question. Would you like to have access to all of this right now? I'm waiting for some faces. I'm looking to see what people say. Do y'all want access to this right now? I see a thumb going up. Robert, do you want access to this right now? Thumbs going up. All right. Ava Rogers, thumbs are going up. Brian's thumb is up. Steve's thumbs up. All right. Donnie's thumb. All right. Let's get into it then. Here's everything you need. Let me give you the bird's eye view of RPP. Number 1, you get the RPP LIFE Lost Mode system. This is a video course. Just click play from the comfort of your own home and watch. It's all the info you need to drop down to your body's optimal weight. The system alone is valued at $497, but the impact it can have on your life is obviously worth way more than that. Number 2, you get the RPP Life Optimal Mode System. It's another video course. It's for when you hit your body's optimal weight, which you will do, and are ready to optimize and fine-tune your health. Fine-tune your body, fine-tune your health. This system is about living the most powerful, confident version of ourselves. While the RPP Life Optimal Mode System is valued at $497, becoming the best version of yourself is priceless. To recap, here's what you're getting today. Number 1, you get the RPP Life Lost Mode System, valued at $497. You get the RPP Life Optimal Mode System, valued at $497. Total value of $994. Number 3, you get the RPP Life 28-day challenges. Every 5th week, we start a new 28-day challenge. The team and I lead you through 28 days of RPP, providing an extra motivation, education, and accountability that you need to accomplish your goals. We just give it all to you. We do these, they're great challenges. You can participate in these challenges as much or as little as you need. They're not required for success, but they are so much fun, you guys. The RPP Life 28-day challenges are valued at $597. To recap, here's what you're going to get today. Number 1, you get the RPP Life Lost Mode System for $497. It's valued at $497. You get the RPP Life Optimal Mode System valued at $497. You get the RPP Life 28-day challenges valued at $597, which would be a total value of $1591. But there's more. Number 4, you get the RPP live streams. Have you ever joined an online program and needed help but had to wait for days after sending off email after email asking for support? Me too. I know it's infuriating, but once you join today, that's all gone. You'll have access to our almost daily live streams that you can watch live or catch the replay later when you have time. You can ask any questions you want. No questions are off limits, so you never have to worry about getting stuck here at RPP. You can show yourself on video or you can stay anonymous, whatever works best for you. The RPP live streams are valued at $997. So to recap, here's what you're getting today. Number 1, you get the RPP Life Lost Mode System valued at $497. You get the RPP Life Optimal Mode System valued at $497. You get the RPP Life 28-day challenges valued at $597. You get the RPP live streams valued at $997 for a total value of $2588. Number 5, you get the RPP Accountability Group. Now, this is huge. It's the most supportive accountability group many of us have ever seen, and that's not hyperbole. Most members don't join for this group, but they end up finding it an invaluable tool. Imagine this, having someone just like you, someone else a month, a year, or 2 years ahead of you, all as your mentors, generously giving you their time when you want a tip or a trick that made their path to success easier. This is invaluable because it's hard to fail with a team of successful mentors guiding you every step of the way. The RPP Accountability Group is valued at $597, and that's way undervalued if you ask me. So to recap, here's what you're getting today. Number 1, you get the RPP Life Lost Mode System valued at $497. You get the RPP Life Optimal Mode System valued at $497. You get the RPP Life 28-day challenges valued at $597. You get the RPP live streams valued at $997. And you get the RPP Accountability Group valued at $597 with great customer support, no risk money back guarantee, and more. Let me say that again. There is a no risk money back guarantee. Change your mind, all your money back, no problem, for a total value of $3,185. But you're not going to have to pay $3,185 today. We are committed to keeping RPP accessible to anyone who prioritizes their health. So, like other programs that deliver less results, we don't charge you thousands of dollars per year for a membership. $1,000 to join would be a steal, but you're not going to have to pay $1,000. The regular price to join RPP for the first year is going to be $497. That's what the price is going to be. And at this price, RPP is one of the best investments we can make in ourselves, hands down, period. You can join RPP later at $497, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you join today, you're not even going to have to pay the $497 up front. Just by being here today, you're prioritizing your health, so I'm committed to rewarding you with something extra special. You get to join RPP today for only $197 and then $19 a month. Go to rpplife.com/start. That's rpplife.com/start right now to join at this special discounted price. As a reminder, yes, you are getting everything for this discounted price, all of it. You get the RPP Life Lost Mode System for $497, valued at $497. You get the RPP Life Optimal Mode System, valued at $497. You get the RPP Life 28-day challenges, valued at $597. You get the RPP live streams, valued at $997. And you get the RPP Accountability Group, valued at $597 for a total value of $3,185, all for only $197 when you join right now. And there's a special bonus. If you join RPP right now before the end of this call, you get a one-on-one success call with Danya Diamond, a $247 value. Danya is down 100 pounds. She's an avid traveler. She'll go over some things to help you make sure you're successful. She's done this while traveling. She knows a lot about RPP. There's nothing that you need to do. Just go to rpplife.com/.